Star Wars has had a rough few years, no doubt about it. But one thing that's always kind of irked me, and maybe it's a little bit on the lighter side and not that big of a deal, is just how bad of a naming problem Star Wars projects have. This has been apparent for the last few years, but really with their last movie announcement, Star Wars Starfighter, I'm like, what are these Star Wars names and shows and movies, and like, why are they so bad? Especially Star Wars Starfighter, like, it tells you nothing about the movie other than a starfighter. Yeah, there's starfighters in Star Wars. Is it like John Starfighter? Like he's the main character? I just feel like Starfighter's such a boring title. And then with the movie coming out in a few months from now, 6 months from now, I think roughly, in May of next year, The Mandalorian and Grogu. We really couldn't think of a better name than The Mandalorian and Grogu. Alright, let's just name the movie after the two main characters in the movie. That's a great idea. I feel like it's so boring and unoriginal. Like they could have done something like Age of Rebellion or Age of Resistance or Rise of the Resistance. I don't know, something exciting, something that like actually sounds like a movie, not something that sounds like you listing off characters. The Mandalorian, Grogu, and Ahsoka, and Moff Gideon, and let's name 10 other characters, and Luke Skywalker, and R2-D2. Like the title is dumb, it's stupid, and it's uninteresting. And the shows had the same problem. Star Wars Ahsoka, Star Wars Kenobi, Star Wars The Book of Boba Fett, which could have actually worked, it's going to actually lead into my other issue. Star Wars Ahsoka. Like, these shows are just Star Wars with the character's name next to it. And I think the two biggest problems, or the two biggest perpetrators of this, of like why it's such a bad idea, is Ahsoka and Andor. When Andor first was announced, everyone had the same reaction. Why? Why are we having a show about Andor? And why would they even name the show after Andor in the first place? So we're making a show off of a B-list character in Rogue One? Like, it makes people uninterested before they even see the trailer because it's like nobody cares about this character. At least with everyone else, Boba Fett, Ahsoka, Kenobi, they're at least characters that people know over the years and learn to love, like over the past 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, however long it's been since these characters' introduction. So it's kind of like there's a reasoning behind why they would name it after these characters, especially when all those shows have to offer is like the character in reality. Andor, on the other hand, nobody knows or cares about Andor. Like, oh wait, isn't that the guy from Rogue One? Like, the guy that dies at the end? When in reality, like, it was probably, like, the best Star Wars series or show that we had, or one of the better ones at the very least. But so many people are never going to tune into it, and it handicapped itself so much simply because of its name. It could have been named so many other things, and they went with Andor. Probably the worst possible decision. It doesn't matter how good the show is, because the name is so bad that it's going to turn audiences away before they even see the trailer and give it a fair chance to watch it. While all the other Star Wars shows kind of benefits from the main character being the name of it, which I still don't agree with. I still think it sounds stupid, but at least there's like a logical reason to it because people are just watching it for that character. They're not watching it for the story because most of these shows do not have any substance in the story. And when they do, with like Ahsoka, it has nothing to do with Ahsoka, the whole Mortis gods that they got going on right now. And the Book of Boba Fett could have worked. Like, when you hear the Book of Boba Fett, it sounds like it's going to be like multiple chapters throughout his life and like just showcasing his life, when in reality he was missing from an entire episode by himself. Like, he wasn't even in one of his own episodes of his own show, and he cameoed in the next episode. So he was gone for practically 2 episodes. So the Book of Boba Fett doesn't even make sense for the series name because he's not even in all the episodes. I feel like ultimately the naming for Star Wars shows has just become so boring and bland, and they could easily come up with something more original. And with the movies too, like, there is definitely room to improve because titles matter. People pay attention to the titles. People will not watch a movie because of a title. And Disney kind of had this problem with Marvel as well, but with Marvel, these are comic book characters, right? It makes sense to name a show after Loki because he's like the main point of it. Like, the whole world revolves around Loki in that show, so it makes sense to name the show Loki. And just how with comic book characters work in general, I feel like it's a lot more fitting to name a show after a comic book character than for Star Wars to name a show after a character. I still don't fully agree with it. I still think it is kind of lazy, but it does make more sense for Marvel to go that route than Star Wars. Anyway, let me know what you guys think down below. I feel like Star Wars is handicapping itself with its names. Let me know if you guys agree in the comments below. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.